Hello friends, myself Purti. This video is very useful for the students who are preparing for neet and csir net. In the last video I have talked about the stress in plants and the frost conditions. So the questions, which type of questions may come is that just to select the adaptations which is not exhibited by the plant in frost conditions. So let us see what are the adaptations acquired by the plant. So you have to remember some terms like I have told you, hardening or acclimatization. Then there should be they should be rich in the unsaturated fatty acid, that is UFA. This is very important. Then dwarfism, then in alpine species anthocyanin pigment was there, and the most important was that is the winter dormancy. They can also adapt one strategy, that is the depression of freezing point. Okay, so in this video we are going to talk about the plant adaptations and resistance to the high temperature. Okay, so in as we talk of humans, our body also adapts to the high temperature. Just see how people live in the desert. So here the plants not only suffer with water stress, they also suffer the thermal stress. Means there is a scarcity of water and there is a very high temperature. So how plants are going to adapt? You have to remember only two things, that is a decrease in the osmotic potential. Okay, and the second thing is that key cessation of transpirational cooling, that is the reduction of the transpiration. And there are some examples written, so we will go through in detail. So let us start. Plant tissues dissipate heat by three main processes, that is radiation, convection and transpiration. Okay, so as we sweat in the very high temperatures, so plants also cool themselves by the process of the transpiration. So what is transpiration? It is a process of water movement through a plant and its evaporation from aerial parts such as leaves, stem, flowers. Okay, so you have to remember this thing, that is the cessation or the reduction of the transpirational cooling. Why? Because there is a water scarcity and followed by the stomatal closure. So all the stomata are going to be closed. So what is a stomata? It is a pore for the gas exchange, mostly found on the undersurface of the plant leaves. And the areas where the high temperature occurs, you better know, that is then the xeric conditions, the temperate zone, the high altitudes. Okay, so in these areas we see drought type of conditions. So again we are going to move on the mechanism on the tolerance of water stress. So what can be the mechanism? They have the smaller cells, their walls, their cell walls may be fold up during the dehydration. And the very important, the most important is this one, is the decrease in the osmotic potential. Okay, due to the as a response to the water deficit. And what it does actually, so it increases the sugar concentration. Why it increases the sugar concentration? Because it help to stabilize the protoplasmic macromolecules and prevent the denaturation of proteins. Okay, so one more very important thing is that to learn over here is that this hormone, that is ABA, abscisic acid, it is a plant hormone. It promotes stomatal closure. It is very important fact. So by the help of the examples we can discuss its adaptation. You know, there are four types xerophytes. We are talking of the xerophytes, four classes: drought, escaping, evading, enduring, resistance. So we will go through one by one. First of all, drought escaping plants. So what does it mean? Escaping means just fly away from this. So they avoid the hottest part of the year and they complete the entire reproductive cycle during the cooler months. It means when the weather is favorable, they they complete their reproductive cycle. Okay, there is high rate of transpiration, and there is the growth is very rapid, and within a short period of favorable conditions. Then we will talk about the succulents. As the name suggests, succulents, okay, these plants absorb water and they store in the enlarged cells. Okay, in the drought enduring xerophyte, you just relate with the minimizing their water needs. How they can minimize their water needs? That is the reduction in their body size, small leaflets, non overlapping leaves. Okay, and it can be deciduous also. And the drought resistant, this is very important actually. Why it is important? Because they rely on tolerance rather than avoidance. So what they do actually, so they develop deep and well branched root system, the leaves modified into spines, the stems into cladodes, and the leaves also designed to reduce the transpiration. Okay, and so they are called as the u0 This is very important. What are the u0 fights? One thing more, one fact is that if we talk about their enzymes, they are very stable. That is a thermostable enzyme. Okay, so and they have high saturated lipids in them because they reduce the fluidity, they reduce the membrane fluidity. Okay, now we have talked about the water stress. There is not only the water stress, but also the most important, and the salt stress is there. So as we are talking of the salt, okay, we just go through two halophytes. So we are discussing the important points about the halophytes, how they are adapting to such a salt conditions. Okay, so they grow in the salty conditions, that is 0.5% or more of NaCl. Okay, these are called as the plants that grow in these conditions are called as halophytes. And the plants which are salt sensitive, it is called glycophyte. This is very important thing, as per as the question is concerned. Okay, then these halophytes adaptations we are talking. So first thing is that by the salt exclusion, but these occurs in the moderate levels. Okay, and this is very limited. But actually what is the actual adaptation? That they, just listen very carefully, they grow in the salinity levels of seawater. Okay, they accumulate, they what they do, they accumulate high levels of sodium ions and chloride ions, and they maintain low internal osmotic potential. This is very important. Okay, again they are making the osmotic potential very low to avoid the water stress deficits. So that is why they are called as the salt accumulators, isn't it? And their osmotic potential continues to be, continues to be more and more negative. Okay, so they are also called as the salt regulators. What happens in the salt regulators? As we know that halophytes grow in high salt concentration. Okay, and they accumulate also these salts. So in regulator what happens that the salt concentration within the plant does not increase. Okay, and how it is not increased? Because these plants in these plants salt enters into it, but leaves swell by absorbing water. Okay, so no increase in concentration occurs. So we as summarizing that these halophytes may be salt accumulators, salt regulators. Okay, and these examples are very important. In some multiple choice questions, these examples are given: Tamarix, Atriplex, Spongiosa, Avicennia. Okay, and this amino acid you can remember, that is proline, is very significant in these. And some more adaptations is that in waterlogged soils, what happens actually in waterlogged soils, there is a lack of oxygen. Okay, so you have aware of this parenchyma. So these cells, these the roots have parenchyma, and by these parenchyma they uptake the oxygen. So they some possess metabolic adaptations. Okay, in aerial pollution, what is that? The plants are resistant. It is impossible for the plants to be irresistant to the pollutant gases. Nothing important in this, but actually we are going to summarize that which type of questions come in this topic. So if we talk about the plant adaptations in the higher temperature, so what you should always memorize two things, that is the cessation of the transpirational cooling, and there is a decrease in the osmotic potential. This is very very important. Okay, now next thing is that ABA. Okay, ABA, that is the abscisic acid, is meant for the stomatal closing. Then the next question is that what is U0 So the answer is the drought resistant plants. Okay, now there are some facts about the halophytes may asked. So what are halophytes, what are glycophytes? Glycophytes is more important, that is they are the salt sensitive. And if we talk about the halophytes, they are the salt accumulators, salt regulators. And this example is very important: Tamarix, Atriplex, Spongiosa, Avicennia. So in the next video we will discuss about the response to stress in animals. And please do like and share and subscribe it. Thank you.